Hello internets, and welcome to another Pokemon X and Y Wi-Fi battle. The battle I have for you today is one that took me quite a while to actually obtain due to the rather unorthodox build of my team. And when you're playing against randoms, passerbys on Wi-Fi, you never know what you're going to get. And I kept running into people who had some sort of speedy taunt user, and that really completely shuts down this team and makes it next to useless. So, a little history about the team before we get started here. I initially built this team because I wanted to use Marowak, who I've never actually used before, and I recently found out that his signature item actually doubles his attack rating, making it over 550, I believe, at level 100. So that was pretty insane, and I decided I wanted to try to use him, maybe surprise some people, get a few sweeps in. But after looking at his stats, there was one glaring thing preventing that goal, and that was basically the fact that his speed is completely abysmal, and he's not the bulkiest poke around, so if he doesn't have some kind of support, he's not going to do a whole lot. So I designed this team around him, and as you may have guessed, this is a Trick Room team. I guess I could have used the standard Ninjask speed boosting baton pass set on him, but I wanted to try something different. And part of the reason for that is because while I was actually farming for Thick Club in Glittering Cave off of Wild Cubone, which took 46 of for me to get, by the way, I ran into a shiny Lunatone, which is the first shiny I've actually encountered in 6th Gen. So that was pretty cool. I'd never really used Lunatone or even seen Lunatone, and it's probably for a good reason because he's actually kind of garbage, but Smogon had a set that's actually somewhat decent, so as you will see in this battle, he actually is capable of doing something, but only a pretty niche role. Anyway, after getting him, I decided I wanted to make the rest of the team Trick Room. So, team preview here. I've got Lunatone. This isn't the same Lunatone I caught, by the way, since he was only level 17. Uh, Fortress, my hazard setter, obviously. Dusknoir, who also has Trick Room, and Will-O-Wisp, stuff like that. Slowbro, who I've never actually used either. I prefer Slowking, but I figured I'd give Slowbro a try. He also has Trick Room, so I have 3 pokes capable of laying down Trick Room. Marowak and Granbull, who's a physical attacker with 2 support abilities, Heal Bell and Toxic. As you'll see, Granbull is perfectly capable of putting in some work. Do not underestimate him. My opponent is somebody called Afiag. I'm not sure if that's actually supposed to be a pun or if it's really his name, but either way it's kind of funny. And his team is pretty standard tryhard OU fare. The only notable thing worth mentioning is that he does not have Kangaskhan or Azumarill, so props for that, my friend. Anyway, let's get started here.
Fiag is issuing a challenge.
So he leads out with his Hydreigon, and I lead with my Lunatone. So he drops the Dark Pulse, which would have OKO'd me easily if not for the fact I'm carrying Focus Sash. And I use the Trick Room here, enabling myself to get a free attack the following turn. And right here I should have used Stealth Rock because Explosion doesn't actually OKO Hydreigon. And I would have been perfectly capable of doing that with Granbull once I send him out to replace Lunatone. But as you'll see, the absence of Stealth Rock doesn't actually affect the outcome of the battle too severely. Just from a strategical standpoint, that would have been probably the ideal move to make at that point. So anyway, I annihilate the wounded Hydreigon with the Play Rough, and Granbull's just sitting here being awesome. He sends out the Faggot Thorn, absolutely hate this thing. And he figures he's just, you know, gonna tank some attacks from Life Orb Granbull here and get his defense up and his attack up with some curses. Just gonna sit here. But I have close combat and goodbye Ferrothorn OKO. I have no idea if that would have OKO'd him with without the critical hit. Probably not, but either way it was kind of awesome. If I was him, I would have used Gyro Ball because Ground Ball has shit defenses. Although it probably wouldn't have done that much anyway since his speed is also pretty terrible, but it would have been better than going for Curse in my opinion. So right here he sends out Tyranitar, not particularly sure why. I've just revealed I have close combat. Why would you think Tyranitar can stand up to Granbull with a 4 times weakness to fighting? Like, I don't really get that logic, but maybe he just wanted to inflict some sandstorm damage so that he could kill me with his Lucario's Bullet Punch, who he sends out right now. And predicting the Bullet Punch, I naturally pull the Granbull out of there and send in my Dusknoir, hoping to get a burn off, neuter his attack, get the Trick Room off, then switch into Marowak, tank a Bullet Punch, and then sweep him with Marowak. But as you'll see, it doesn't quite work out like that. The Bullet Punch does next to nothing to Dusknoir, so right here I'm like, okay, well this is looking pretty good. Let's just set up some stuff, and then he turns out to have Crunch, which you don't actually see on Lucario very often, and that kind of ruins my overall master plan, because he only has time for one more move due to the fact that even though I'll switch the dimensions, he still has Bullet Punch and can kill me before I can get off another move. So right here I was a little bit concerned that Lucario may actually sweep my team, but as you'll see, that's not what happens. So I send out Marowak, who's probably my best option at this point, considering Lucario has revealed he has Crunch, which is super effective against quite a bit of my team, and the Bullet Punch would have OKO'd Granbull, so Marowak was my best bet at this point. But instead of testing the waters with his Lucario and Bullet Punch, which may have OKO'd me, I'm not 100% sure, he sends in Volcarona, who I proceed to 2-hit KO with Bone Meringue, so not too sure what he was thinking there. And then Gardevoir comes out and receives the same treatment. Good night, Gardevoir. At this point, it's only Lucario left, and instead of going for Bullet Punch on his final turn, he just decides not to. Like, I don't really get what you were thinking there. I'm obviously going to be faster than you if you don't go for Bullet Punch. Just wasn't familiar with Trick Room, I don't know. But either way, I was pretty happy with that battle. Very, essentially 2 NU pokes sweeping an entire OU team. Marowak and Granbull doing work. So I hope you all enjoyed. I'll probably use this team again, considering that battle was pretty short, pretty one-sided, and not exactly against the brightest of opponents. So maybe I'll be able to get a longer one sometime soon. Although this is a pretty difficult team to use effectively, honestly, because if anybody has Taunt, my whole strategy is basically fucked. Although, I thought about changing Slowbro's ability to Oblivious, since that negates Taunt, so I may do that as sort of a safeguard against the tactic. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you next time.